Hello, good evening. It's Sarah Otis. Wanted to come online and do a reading for you all tonight. There's a lot going on in the collective, a lot of energy swirling, a lot of different things coming into play, and I think a lot of people have a lot of questions about how to, let's say, navigate this and not feel like you're drowning literally in the muck of shifting energies. So there's just many things coming into play that I wanted to come on and share some wisdom and guidance on today. So as I was doing the cards, two of the same cards that came out in the other day's reading came again. And tonight, Spirit was saying that the collective has done a tremendous amount of shifting since the other day when I did my last reading. There's so many supportive energies right now that it's making it very easy for some people to start to step into their power and find the confidence within themselves to put themselves out there. Then you have the others that are just like, nope, this is too much. You back away. I'm going in isolation and I don't want anybody near me. And that's fine. There's no right or wrong about either way. That's just where you are at this time. So tonight, when these two same cards came out again, they wanted me to read. There was this deck is the Gateway Oracle deck by Denise Linn, and there are questions at the end of each card. And they said tonight we want you to share the questions because it's going to allow some people to do some more inner work. And I apologize if you hear a lot of ruckus and rackus in the racket in the background. The two babies are going wild, and they have a message in tonight's reading, so that will be shared shortly about what all this noise is they're making. So to get started, kind of our challenge or our obstacle at the time is coming into our power. And this came up in, earlier this week's reading. It's about, I step into my power boldly and confidently. Some of you started something in my last message, sparked something in you and helped you find that little bit of confidence that you didn't think you had. And you kind of felt like, maybe it is okay. I am going to be accepted. I'm not going to be judged if I start to embrace my power and embrace all that I am. Because I felt it in the collective, because I was feeling, because when everybody else is feeling something, me as the empath, I feel it in me, and I have to ask myself, is this mine, or is this someone else's, or is this the collective? And it was the collective. I was feeling a need to justify who I am, explain myself, and it's kind of like, why? Those who are going to love and accept me, it doesn't matter. Those who choose not to, then that doesn't matter to me. That's their choice. That's where they are at the time. And I was feeling it for everyone. And I was just like, okay. I knew I was having to do some work for everybody to help clear. And that's why they said this card came back in, is those that want to step in their power need a little bit of guidance and support right now, and feeling that they can grasp onto their self-confidence. And the one thing I keep hearing from so many people is, they say, how courageous and brave you are to show up on, online and put yourself out there in videos. I couldn't do that. I'm proud of you. And it does take a lot of courage, especially with all that I've been going through this year. But it's stepping out of that comfort zone and trusting where you're being nudged. If you get those butterflies of excitement, that tells you it's right, that you need to listen and go forward and step a little bit more and more and more into it, because it's right for you. So you need to listen to those callings that you're getting. So the questions that go with this card is, what has stopped me from expanding my potential in the past? The next one is, how can I come into my power more fully? And the third question, in what ways can I support and help others with my own strengths? Now, those are some really good questions, especially the last one. How can I support and help others with my own strengths? Each and every one of us has a very unique skill and ability. And we've all been brought here for profound purpose. No one is alike. Even though you may meet someone and be like, God, they could be my twin. They are almost a 360 switch from you. And each one of us has a profound purpose. And all of humanity is waiting for each light to show up and reveal themselves. And carry out your God-given duties. You know, what have you been blessed with? What has your soul been blessed with? And that, they keep saying it's time to come online, meaning just plug in and show up. So that's really, you need to think about, how can I help others with your story, with your life? What's gone on in your life? Even if it's the most traumatic, tragic, horrifying, hurtful thing, you still have a story that's going to empower and help others and inspire them. That's part of where I'm coming from. And in the time, I'll share some of these stories to help inspire some of you all. Just like over the years, I've shared them with my clients, you know, with all the medical things. And most people would have never fathomed that I had suffered a lot of these illnesses. And when I started opening up and talking, you could just see the armor melt, and they felt safe. They were just like, wow, I didn't think anyone else was experiencing this. And then hearing your story, Sarah, I realized mine's nowhere near as bad. And the fact that you are sitting here talking to me, you're alive and you're healthy, is amazing. It's a testament of just how strong and courageous you are. And that's what I want to inspire and invoke and ignite in you, the one watching this video. So that's couldn't be a more stronger message of coming into your power. The next card is simplifying your life. I cherish the simple pleasures of life. And right now, what's coming up, they're saying it to me as much as one of my teachers I'm working with right now. One of my healer teachers, she was talking about, with all that's coming up right now, we need to clear the clutter. No. They're wanting to play. On all levels, the mental, the emotional, the physical, the psychological, the spiritual clutter that is accumulating. And when I say physical, I mean the physical, what's around you, our homes. And I know I've got a lot of clutter going on in my house, because when I came back, I had packed my house up because I was renting it out. And so now I've been slowly unpacking and purging, because there was a lot that I got rid of last year. And that felt great. It felt so exhilarating to lighten my load. And now I feel so bogged down and heavy and lethargic. You know, there's this stuff that was me maybe from 2, 5, 10 years ago. It doesn't represent who I am now, because we aren't who we were 30 seconds ago. We've already changed. And when we hold on too much of the past, that limits us from the present moment. And if you hear in all kinds of different things, we aren't the past, we're not in the future. We are right here, right now. Feel yourself. This is the present moment. And I tend to live too much in the future or too much in the past. And I have to remind myself, come back here. Get back here in the present. And that's a common thing when we have clutter. Physical clutter that we can either see or is in our mind, our emotions, in our body. We tend to want to run from it and think, I'll deal with it tomorrow. Tomorrow comes, I'll deal with it next week. And we shove it in closets and shut the door and pry it and put something in front of it because it's so full we can't shut it. And that's what's starting to happen in our bodies and our minds. And there's so much of the old that needs to be shed away. It's the old dimensions, the old paradigms they don't serve any of us anymore. And when we find a way to simplify our lives and clear the clutter, then there's just this big void, and it's like, wow. So that void can be filled with new, amazing, prosperous, abundant energies and opportunities and people and places and experiences. But if you're only creating a little wedge, I don't think much, not much can fit in there. Where if you create a little more, wow, look at all that could be created. And that's what I'm doing with myself. And I know when I create and change, it helps you, just like it helps the next person. Each and every step that we all make in our personal lives to better ourselves and to heal ourselves affects everyone, because we're all one. That's why so many of us can feel what everybody else is experiencing and going on. Some of us, like myself, are a little bit more sensitive and can sense it and feel a lot more. So that's why it's so important to clear out your space, your physical space you're living in, the space that you are cohabitating within your mind, in your heart. It's time to let it go. Today, I was led to contact someone that I hadn't spoken to in over a year. And it was someone that created a lot of heartache and pain and trauma in my life when I was in the village. And I couldn't handle it, so I completely cut them out. And Spirit said I needed to open up communication to find some closure. During the conversation, it wasn't good at all, meaning I didn't feel good in myself. It brought back all those nasty, ugly feelings and emotions from the past. And I was just like, wow. It was almost like while they were talking, I stepped away and looked at the bigger picture and looked at the perspective of this past situation. I was like, wow, look how much I have grown in the space I created by clearing that clutter. And now that I have brought some closure, there's even more space. And that's more of what they're wanting all of us to do, is to clear the clutter so you can create space for new things to come into your life. And then it goes into the third card, which we got in the last reading. It's Revealing Radiance. My light illuminates the world. And see, when you simplify your life, you're not as heavy and dense and dark. And you can radiate and rise higher. And that's what they're really wanting you all to do, is when you shed those layers and you peel back. I always refer to my life as I'm an onion. And with each new healing, you peel a layer and remove it. And you peel a new layer, remove it. And it to where you can get down to a core of where your wounds are and what is it you're here to work on and share with the world. Because we all come in wounded. We all have some deep hurts, wounds, traumas. And that's what makes us who we are, and the stories that we can teach from and share our guidance and wisdom. And that's what they're wanting you all to do, is when you can step into your radiant being and reveal your radiance. Wow. Like I said in the last message, people are going to be like, yay, she showed up finally, meaning we've been waiting on you to come online, like they say. And so many things are going to open up, opportunities, because you remember that expansive energy that we've cleared by simplifying our life. Now we've got all this space. Now we could fill it back up with clutter, which would start slowly eliminating opportunities, or we could leave it open and allow ourselves to receive. Because so many of us right now are not receiving. We're not allowing things to come into our life. That was me. Because of everything that had had happened in my life over the last 2 years, all the traumas, I had completely shut down and shut everybody out. And like I talked about that in my video about my miscarriage. And these two little babies came into my life, and they have taught me so much in like the 2 weeks that they've been here about where I wasn't allowing myself to receive love, receive support, acceptance, happiness, joy. I mean, I have had so much fun with these little guys. And so tonight, I threw a bottle cap down off a water bottle, and they have had the best time just flying through my house, playing with this bottle cap. It's so simple. And that goes back to this simplifying your life. Sometimes we try to make things too hard. I know I do. I tend to be more of a perfectionist. I want things to be just so, because I'm afraid someone might judge me if I didn't have it as such, because that's just the way I was raised and how I've always done things. But they're saying a lot of that doesn't have to be so intense or, you know, so rigid. It's time to allow a little bit of lax, but don't become lazy. You know, still uphold your standards. But we got to find ways to just be more simple, to enjoy life. I mean, these babies are having a wonderful time playing with the cap. So where in your life could you find some ways to simplify and allow just some simple pleasures to come in? And sometimes it'll just be just the most minute thing that will bring you some pleasure or comfort or joy. And that's what they said, be looking for. And if you can't seem to see it, ask your angels to show you signs or help you better understand and realize them. That's a big question they're saying. Sorry, I skipped your questions on the other cards. So the questions for the second card, simplifying your life. They say, what can I clear out of my life that will enrich and empower me? Now that's a big one. That I really want you all to sit down and think about. You know, get your notepad or some paper and start to write. You can create 2 lists, you know, things that you want to clear out, maybe you want to hold on to. Maybe this list is the things you kind of maybe need to do a little more work on. These things you're like, I'm done. Get rid of them. They're gone. So let them go. These are the things you need to work on. Because when you work on this list, and you can, okay, check, that empowers you, gives you confidence to feel like, wow, I can do this, and I did it all on my own. And that's when you give yourself that pat on the back. Job well done. So that one I really want you all to focus on and really do some inner work to see what comes up. The next one is, what blocks me from simplifying my life? Now that's a big one. That's a really big one. And I'll say probably the first one on my list would be fear. I think a lot of us are that way. Some people, fear doesn't bother them. That's just me, because a lot of times I'm feeling my fear, I'm feeling everyone else's fear, and that will paralyze me and stop me in my tracks till I'm kind of like, get out. You're not, your past due date is over. You have expired. Get out of my life, Fear is good and bad, because fear can empower you to overcome it or be like, no, I'm not going to let this fear stop me. And it challenges you to do better and do more and rise above and show up. And fear can have the bad effect, meaning, like me, at times it paralyzes and it throw out the key. I'm not going to talk, or I'm not going to show up, or I'm not going to do this, or I'm not going to do that, for fear of the what ifs. The thing is, when we fear the what if, and that's all we sit and think about, then that's what we create, instead of being able to create the good things that really are meant to be coming to us. But we were so scared of the what ifs, so we manifested them. That's always been the one thing when I have readings, they always bring up, Sarah, you're a master manifester. Why do you manifest the things you don't want? I'm like, I don't know why. And they said, you're not consciously doing it. That's in your subconscious. So that's something, an inner wound I need to work on. And that could be something going on in you all. The last question on that one is, what will my ultimate result be if I simplify my environment and activities? So that will help show you what will be your outcome. And so that's another good one that you can make lists on. So for the third card, the Revealing Radiance, the questions are, how can I shine even more brightly? So that's where you can make lists of what ways can you use your gifts and abilities or your stories to show up and help others. And that could really help you start to see new ways to be like, oh, wow, I've always kind of thought about, I'd like to do that, but I just didn't know how. Oh, well, I'm good at this. Well, I could use my gifts and abilities and what I've learned from this. So you'll just start to brainstorm and create kind of like one of those graphs where you write something and it just makes all these different things that come off it, like branches. So do some more work on that one. And the next question is, who helps me shine and who dims my light? Now that's a powerful question, and that's something I've been going over, especially during the 7 months of intensive healing, because I had lost trust in everyone, even myself, my family, my friends, everyone, because of the traumas that had occurred in my life, because of how deeply I had been abused and wounded and traumatized. I said, And so it helped me see who I could trust and who I couldn't, who helped me come out of it and shine, and who started to help me out of it, but then would dim me and make me feel smaller because of what came out when I did shine. And then I have those who totally made me shine. So it may be you'll have 3 lists. And a lot of this simplifying our lives is sometimes, you know, every year at Christmas, at New Year's time, I shed a lot of things, meaning I go through and empty out my email box, you know, old emails I saved in folders. They don't serve me anymore, so delete, delete, delete. I go through my Facebook and look through people, you know, that I might know or might not know, that I met along my journeys. And, you know, we don't resonate anymore. We've grown apart. Not that I don't want them in my life anymore. Sometimes when we hold on to those people, it's an old energy. And it could be bogging us down, because anytime we're connected with anyone, we're connected with their energy as well. So when you hold on to all these people, you know, we've all got these cords going to them, and they're draining us of our own energy and our own life force. And is that something you want if you're trying to radiate and shine? So that's a very powerful question. The last one on that one is, what do I need to clear out of my life so I can shine even brighter? And so that's where you can make your list of, is it people? Is it where I'm living? Is it the job I have? Is it a mate, a husband, a boyfriend, girlfriend? What do you need to say goodbye to? It may not be forever, and it's not because you don't, you know, if it's a person, it's not because you don't love them. You can love them from afar, but right now they don't serve a purpose in your life, and they're not helping you to radiate. And that's what they really want you to know. So the next card is Cultivating Prosperity. The abundance of the universe is pouring into my life. So they're saying, if you do the work of these first 3 cards and really take some time and work on the questions, you, in the process, will be cultivating prosperity and abundance in your life. And so much and so many times when we are in a place of lack, meaning it could be financial lack, or we're lacking other things related to work, it just depends on which one you want to compare. I'm going to say finances. the more we sit and think about not having money, the more we create lack, because you have the laws of the universe, meaning the thing you focus on the most and think or talk about the most, they think that's what she wants. So they find other resonances, energies to magnetize to you and mirror back to create more. And then you're kind of like, what? Why am I in even deeper debt or in deeper lack? Why is there no money coming in? Why? Well, by sitting there thinking that, I'm creating more and more and more. And sometimes it's kind of like you scratch your head like, what am I supposed to do to change that? Well, a lot of it takes a lot of the inner work to figure out why we don't think we deserve or feel we're worthy of it. And that is what the things that came up in my last 2 years of my journey during volunteering is, that was the main thing. Spirit was mirroring to me. I didn't feel worthy and I didn't feel I deserved it. So I manifested a man who mirrored all that to me and abused me and made me feel even more undeserving and more unworthy. That I thought, well, this is all I'm going to get. I guess this is what I deserve, and I'm not worthy of more. But yet my mind, my soul was screaming, hello, yes you do. Because that's what I was there teaching and sharing to the students, the monks. And I was just like, what has happened to me? But what the twist was, this person was not mentally stable. They have a personality mental disorder. So it's a little bit of a different twist. So I had to dig a little deeper to find what he was mirroring to me. Where was I blocking myself? And that's what Spirit wants you guys to do, is do that deeper inner work to figure out what, because every person in your life, even your mom and dad, mirror something to you. Because we're all here to help one another. We're all here to heal each other. I'm not healing you and you're not healing me. What we're doing is we're mirroring to each other so we can heal ourselves and become whole and congruent once more. So this is where we've got to look at where we blocking these things from ourselves. Because we can create, cultivate, and manifest anything and everything we want and desire. But the kicker is, what's the two things? You must feel worthy and you must feel you deserve it. If you don't have these two things, it's not going to happen. Sometimes you feel, I deserve this, and maybe you'll get some things, but it won't be everything. And then the unworthiness will bring in a lesson, a person or an experience or a trauma to really teach you about where you're giving your worth and your power to others and why. So it's going to mirror back to you how you can retract your worthiness back and work on the wounds within you that you allowed. Just here it is on a plate. I put on the beautiful platter for you, and I've got the pretty china here and chocolates. That's kind of how it is when we give our worth and our power and our voice away. We put it on this beautiful platter for someone to just be like, oh, sure, I'll take that. It's mine, and just enjoy it. And then maybe toss it and move on to the next person they take from the platter. And that was my ex-fiance. I just put the platter out there, and he took and took and took and took and took and took till there was nothing left of me. To the point where when I looked in the mirror, I didn't recognize who I was. If I heard my voice, it didn't sound familiar. And if I heard my name, it didn't resonate. That was a powerful wake up for me, because none of that is who I thought I was. But that was what I needed to be shown on this journey, because this is where those deep inner wounds within me that I thought I had done the work. It was obvious I hadn't. And Spirit's like, it is time for this girl to show up. She's showing up, but she's not the most authentic Sarah because she's hiding behind these wounds that we don't think she realizes she still has or has. So I created, you have to be careful about what you create and cultivate, because you could create and cultivate all the things you don't want, or you can cultivate prosperity. So the questions they want you to answer on this one is, am I truly open and ready for abundance to flow into my life? And some people will be like, heck yeah, I am. But then there's that little voice, no, you're not. No, you're not. You don't deserve it. You're not worthy. What will they say if you get that? What will your parents say? Or what will the neighbors say if all of a sudden you're earning money and you're buying things? So we have that inner chatter going constantly. But that's where we need to step in front of it and leave the chatter behind and be like, no, I'm doing work on me. The next one is, what could I do to cultivate even more riches? And that could go into that, I was talking about in the simplifying your life. How could you use your gifts and abilities and your wisdom that you've obtained in this lifetime to help others? There could be a business. You could create a business out of it. You never know. So that's where you need to make your checklist and see what is plausible. What are you capable of doing? Or what could you possibly be capable of doing once you do some of that inner work? The next one is, God, they're just too happy. Is there a symbol in my life that could give me insights into what blocks my prosperity? That's a big one. And most of the time people have the blinders on. They may have opened the blind a tad. That they don't want to see it. So you act like it's not there. No, it's not there. We have so many of us have our blinders on because many times if it's too painful, you're going to be like, it'll disappear. But the more it keeps coming up into your consciousness, those are symbols and signs. So pay strong attention to these things in your life right now, because they may be something that helps you prosper and bring in abundance and prosperity. And the last question on this one is, and what is it saying to you? So that list of these signs and symbols, what is it saying to you? What does it make you feel? How does it make you feel? What does it make you think about? It may make you think back to a person, place, or experience. And it could be that person, place, or experience could be someone that could help you cultivate prosperity. The thing is, the universe will never keep anything that's meant for us to have. Nothing is ever withheld from us. So that's what you all always need to remember. It may seem like nothing ever good comes to me. I never get what I ask for. Mrs. Jones over here is getting anything and everything she wants all the time, and I'm over here getting nothing. Remember, it goes back to that. Be careful of your thoughts and your words, because you're going to create what you're thinking. The point is, that's where they are at the journey. Maybe they've already learned a majority of their lessons. You haven't. You've got some more growth to experience. And when you do that, then things really start to manifest in your life. And that's what Spirit so wants for each and every one of you all to know is, you all are magnificent beings. You're beautiful, radiant beings of light, here to do such some profound work. And it's time. It is time, my dears, to come into your power and reveal your radiance. There's no more appointed time to do it. But the business way to get there is you got to simplify your life. And then the card that came up from the power of surrender is surrender to passion. Don't jump to conclusions on passion yet. It says get out of your head and feel the fire in your belly. Focus on the people or activities that ignite your passion and let it flow. And when I say passion, what are you most passionate about in life? Do you love to draw? Do you love to act? Do you love to write? Do you love to be a speaker? Do you love to dance? Do you want to be an actor? What is it that just ignites you and excites you when you do it? That's what you know you're most passionate about. And most of the time, things that we're passionate about, that we can make a career out of, we don't. Because so often, people are like, I can't make money out of dancing. I can't make money out of being an artist. I can't make money out of being a writer or a speaker. No one wants any of these things from me. It goes back to, remember, focus on your thoughts. If it is what you're passionate about, it will come. The money, the opportunities, the experiences, all of it will come. Because that's how, like when I manifested my trip to India 2 years ago, I was so passionate about going and helping and giving back to those less fortunate and empower women to find their voices. Because that's a big thing going on in India, is women have been told, button it up and throw out the key, and you'll never be able to speak your truth or use your voice in a powerful way to make change. So I manifested the opportunity to go share my passion. And that's what they're wanting you all to do right now. So hold on, my baby wants to join you guys in the message today. So this is the little feisty one that's been playing. So guys, find what you're most passionate about and go shine. And don't let anyone stop you, defeat you, or make you feel any less than, or you're not worthy. And don't ever think you don't deserve happiness, abundance, prosperity, and a joy-filled life, because you do. That is something we all are worthy and deserving of, and we got to remember that. So, and she's saying yes. So I want you guys to remember that, and you all have a great afternoon or evening wherever you are, or morning, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care, guys. Much love. Bye-bye.